Welcome in, everybody. I love that opening. Back live on a Sunday. I am Jack Neary from Fantasy Farm Sports. We have Greg Kratzer, the old gamer GK. How are we doing today, Greg?
We are doing wonderful on this Memorial Day weekend. Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. So the sun's always out down here. I live down in Florida. Is the sun out? Because Memorial Day was always one of those days where you always hoped you got a nice day, and you usually did.
You know, it's a little bit of overcast today, but we'll take that today. Tomorrow, though, is supposed to be crappy. And we all know most people grill on a Monday on Memorial Day because everybody has anywhere from a 3 to a 4 day weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we let's start with the NBA Finals because we're headed there. We're in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals right now. We're headed towards the NBA Finals. We'll start with Boston, Indiana. Let's start East Coast, and then we'll shift over to the West Coast. Boston now leads the series 3-0. They won last night. If you're watching that ticker down below, which Greg sets up for us every week because he does a great job doing this.
Not just a ticker. Look at the new background, guys. Look at the new background. That's, you know, we're getting there. We're getting there. We need to add our names up a little higher for Fantasy Farm Sports, Old Gamer GK. But we got a nice new fresh background. We are incorporating our podcast title now, Every Sports Podcast, featuring Greg and Jack. So you guys are easier to find us. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We will be eventually on Spotify. And what's Apple's?
I think it's Apple. Is that what Apple it is? Podcast, yeah.
Apple Podcast. So we are trying to make it as easy as possible to find us, guys. We really are.
If not, we'll find you.
Well, Jack will find you. Then you could deal with that. But me, on the other hand,
one.
I don't want to be that creep.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, I'll find you. And then what? Then we'll just have a conversation about how you didn't find us.
Exactly. Then we could talk
round and round we go. Boston won 114 to 111 last night. Indiana.
Great
Pacers
game, by the way. Great game.
It was a great game. Indiana Pacers fans are now light one TV in their house. Quite sure that's destroyed. I mean, if you're a real fan,
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That was a tough one.
That was
no Halliburton. No Halliburton. You led all game.
Yeah, I mean, they led all game except for a brief period in the second quarter, and besides that, it looked like they were pulling away.
Yeah, and I feel like they thought they were pulling away as well. Here's what you got to understand about this series: Indiana, for better or worse, doesn't know that they're young. They're a real super young team. Some of the guys have been there for a couple years, but I mean, you got Halliburton, you've got Turner, you've got Siakam just got there. He's been there for a cup of coffee. Like this is basically a new team. Okay, you got Carlisle, a fantastic coach, but Boston's played this team before. They're named the Miami Heat, right? Like this Celtics team had to deal with the Warriors in the finals. This Celtics team has had all of these problems now that Indiana's facing in front of them for years. So, you know, the Celtics, when they're down by 14, they just, okay, guys, which one was this? Was this game 3 against Golden State? Was this game 4 against Jimmy Butler's which one is it? And once they figure out which game it is, then they can then they go, let's try to work the point a little bit more. Drew Holiday, try to break this guy down. It's very simple for them. You know, when you have the equation, math is easy. And Boston has the equation, right? They've had it probably for the past couple seasons. This Indiana team is nice, and they're going to be great going forward, but it's not their time.
True. The way they were playing last night, if they had Halliburton last night, I think the game they win that game. they were making every shot. Indiana was, Pacers. And just when you thought they were going to pull away, the Celtics came and hit big shots of their own. Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I mean, they were lights out last night.
Well, here's the one problem that they have. Who's their guy? Like when Halliburton...
Celtics are Indiana? Okay.
You're down by 1. Who's your guy? Well,
Yeah.
maybe it's not even really Halliburton when he's in, because Halliburton's whole thing is passing and making the right play. It could be him. But I feel like the mistake that they made was they didn't run any action for Siakam.
Okay.
I mean, your goal when you're down by 1, which you should have never gotten to, but your goal has to be getting him a 15-footer. If he misses it, you can walk away happy. You know, you didn't have a plan. Your guy tried to go to the basket. Drew Holiday moved his feet perfectly. But he reached in. Please stop it. His feet were moving perfectly, and you were about to fall. You didn't have a plan, and that's the problem. It should Nick Ward. It should be Pacers 2-1 all day. They won that game last night. Coach blew first game by not following on the 3. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they kind of did. Yeah.
I guess, but I mean, you know, apples and oranges. Carlisle's old school. He's not going to foul like that. I don't, you know, maybe that's what got him out in Dallas. I don't know. Maybe Cuban, you know, got really mad. I think the Pacers should be 2-1. But they're too young. You know, they don't. You had to have run a play. They ran no plays. You know, the guy tried to get to the basket. He's not the most athletic player, and you have to understand in that moment, it's Drew Holiday.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd much rather the Pascal Siakam, Jason Tatum matchup. How about this one? Because I watched it work before. Give me a pick and roll with Horford, and let Siakam take him off the dribble. Like, I don't know how this wasn't pounded home in the huddle. And maybe it was.
Okay.
But you have to have a plan there.
Absolutely. I think Drew Holiday, he was the turnaround for the Celtics in that game. What was it? Minute? 7 points? Steal? Right there. Like, he wanted that game. He willed that team to win. Yeah, it was Jaylen Brown. It was Tatum that kept them somewhat in the game. But as far as closing out the game, it wasn't their superstars. It was Holiday. He's the guy that brought it home for them at the end. What's going on, Matt? How are you? Thanks for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it.
Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown seem to be the adults in the room.
Yes.
And if you're down by 15 and there's no pressure, Jason Tatum's going to jack some shots. And he'll make most of them. But as far as
he made them last night.
On being under, but there's no pressure. You're down by 1 million. Indiana's blowing you out at home. Like, what are you going to do? Hey, guys, you know what I'll do? I'll drop 42 and I'll go, well, I did the best I could. That's Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
You know, as far as, you know, game on the line, need a 3-pointer, I don't want him shooting it. I'll take the adults. I'll take the Jaylen Brown. I'll take the Drew Holiday. White's very good. But he reminds me a little bit of Tatum as well. Like, they kind of hide when they really need something. And
when the moment's big.
Holiday's like, Holiday almost felt like, dude, I didn't come here for this. Just give me this win and let's get out of here. I thought this was interesting about the game too, and we always talk about betting and not so much gambling.
Absolutely.
But so the game one was anywhere from 9.5 to 11.5, depending on which sports book you took it at. With Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, we knew the Pacers covered. Last night, no Halliburton, and the line went off at 7.5. Listen, I understand that the Pacers needed to win that game.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
If they, because if they lost, which they did, the series is over now.
But you're missing 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing 20 points. You're missing 8 or 9 assists. However you want to slice that ham is fine, but you're missing it.
Mm-hmm.
And the line was only 7.5, and I call those suspicious lines.
Okay.
Because it's almost like, was that Elvis Presley song? Suspicious Lies? This is a suspicious line.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and you're caught in trap. And that's what he says. Caught in a trap, you can't walk out. Because you want to bet the Celtics. 7.5. Oh,
yeah.
they got to be better than the Pacers without Halliburton. But the truth is they're not because of how that line is set. That line is set for a favorite trap. When you see something in the regular season and it's like the Lakers, they don't have LeBron James for the night, right? And they're still 5.5-point favorites. It's a trap, baby.
Yeah.
Don't fall into it. It's an absolute trap. And it's tough.
Go ahead. Finish up.
It's tough to figure which way they're gonna trap you. Last night was easy though. Last night felt like, you know what? I'm gonna take Indiana with the 7.5 because it seems like the moron bet.
Wait, getting 7.5. Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Take them getting 7.5, and you're like, oh, there's no way. Well, every time your mouth opens and says no way, understand that's the wrong bet to make.
Yeah. Yep. And a lot of times, and if you were on the Celtics side and you're like, wow, 7.5, that's a lot, even without Halliburton. Dude, money lines. I'm the king of money lines. I love money lines. All right. You don't know how many times I get screwed over by 1 point or a half a point taking the actual lines. No, I'm a money line guy. So
Greg, how do I get value?
Well, I mean, you have to bet a little. You have to bet a little bit more. That's it.
You have to bet 2 money lines to get your value back. No, you do. You're absolutely right.
But I'm saying if you're torn, say you wanted the Celtics last night because you knew they were going to win, but you're like, 7.5 is a lot to cover. And it is. It is. I mean, even without Halliburton, 7.5 is still a lot to cover in the NBA playoffs.
Especially in Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then you take the Celtics then. That's what you do. If you don't want to bet against your team or bet against your rationality, your thought, then just take the money line. That's it. Then that takes the point spread right out of it. You don't even need to worry about it. You can just sit back like this, right on your chair, and just collect your money.
I thought it was so suspicious. The first thing I thought, I was like, man, so you should have a line in your head, by the way, before you bet games. You should have a line and a thought in your head. And I went, no Halliburton tonight, 12.5. 14.5 would be tough. No one's going to bet 14.5. But I thought maybe 12.5, you could get some people, kick it down to 11 or 10.5, right? Then we're right back to where we were in the first game. And I went 7.5. Woof. I don't love. I went, wow, the Celtics aren't easy. And as soon as it came out of my mouth, I went, Pacers. I didn't play it, but I felt that. I went, Pace, like the ghost exited me.
Well, and you alluded to it earlier in the conversation, was that the Pacers needed to win that game. So it's one of those things like, all right, we know they're down a superstar. They have to be able to cover that 7.5. They have to be right there at the end of the game. Something has to happen at the end of the game for them to lose it. So you take the Pacers with that 7.5 if you want to make some money, or you take the money line where you can make a little bit of money.
Oh, sorry, I'm scratching my eye. That was all the shots Indiana caught late. Right in their eye. Oh,
but wasn't it crazy that as soon as like Indiana would hit like a big three and it looked like they were going to pull away, Tatum or Brown, one of that, they just came down and nailed a shot. Like they would answer those big shots. Yeah, they might have still been down by double digits, but that 12-point lead didn't bump up into the 20 points or what I think the biggest lead they had was 16 last night.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest. So we talked about adults in the room, right? Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown. The adult in the room for Indiana is Halliburton. He's the adult in the room. Like you gotta. Here's what's crazy. What people don't understand is Tyrese Halliburton was drafted by the by the Kings, Sacramento Kings. Okay, and he was coming off the bench, and there was a real discussion there whether they should keep De'Aaron Fox, and they were only going to keep Fox if his shooting got better, because there were scrimmages where Halliburton's bench team was beating out Fox's team.
Okay,
that was really happening. So. Sacramento sat there and went, well, we need to get taller. We need to get a real rebounder in here that could run pick and rolls because Fox shooting has gotten better. We bring in Sabonis, and then we move Halliburton out. And Indiana now has an adult in the room. but he was on the sideline. And I feel like Indiana, the greater the lead got, the more nervous they got. They started looking at the scoreboard and going, "Oh shit, we're up by 15."
Yeah,
I feel like when the game was close and they were fighting.
Yeah.
When they were close and it was fighting. When the game was close and they were fighting, I feel like they felt like they're comfortable in the New York Knicks game. When they're up by 12 or 13 against like the Boston Celtics, they're supposed to win the title. They just looked like they got nervous.
Yeah. Yep. It was one of those things. They didn't. I think they felt like they didn't want to piss away that lead. Like that, you have a double-digit lead. Like if you lose this game, they know it's done. They're done.
They went from hungry to now the marked man at the poker table. They went, "Oh, look at all these."
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Should I bet? And then all of a sudden you lost 4 blinds in a row, and you're like, "All right, I got to bet again," because you feel like you haven't bet in such a long time, 4 or 5 hands, and then you bet, and you're like, "All right, ace-6." You haven't played the last couple hands. You don't even know. You lose the flow of the table almost. You lost your aggressiveness.
Yes, absolutely. But I think this series was over a long time ago. I mean, game 1, this series was over.
I mean, I think it was, Boston didn't like game 1 very much at all.
Well, no, I mean, Indiana should have won that game.
But I think game 1,
even though everything was going towards, it seemed like it was going towards Indiana's favor, Boston still pulled it out, though.
Yeah, to your point, Boston ended up winning game 1. But I think Boston, after game 1, went, we can't continue like that.
Yeah.
Because if we continue like that, I mean, what do you guys want to play 7 games here?
Yeah.
Like, it felt like if Indy got that game or even got game 2, it felt like they were in front of their dogfight with Miami. And it's like, oh my God, this again. And I don't think Boston's built for dogfights.
Yeah, true. Let's see, Matt, we will be talking football before you know it. You're right. I can't wait. We are going to have some good debates when it comes to football season.
They're down.
And guys, right now, just remember, make sure you guys subscribe, follow us during football season. You guys, if you guys want to come on the show, we'll have you guys on the show. Just make sure you guys know what you're talking about, and we know you. We know if you know what you're talking about. We don't have a problem having a third person on. Say we're talking about your team. You want to come in and do a little special guest star appearance, we will have that. So just keep a lookout, and we'll have all that information here once football season starts up.
Like, subscribe, follow. Don't make me follow you.
Yeah, we don't want to follow you. You don't want us to follow you.
You don't want us to follow me. Let's talk about the West, because more surprises. I mean, and again, Minnesota looks a little uncomfortable. They don't know how to lead. They know how to dance. They're just not leading. And they are lead every time they're getting leads. But Dallas is seasoned, and Minnesota made huge mistakes. They're still making the same mistakes. Why do you have Edwards on Irving?
Yeah, it makes no sense. None.
He's laughing at you. And by the way, Kyrie Irving doesn't believe, like, he's a great playmaker, but don't for 1 second think that Tim Hardaway can't come in and hit 3 threes and do exactly what Kyrie does.
Yeah.
So if Kyrie needs a minute or a blow or whatever, Tim Hardaway Jr. is just going to come in and make your life miserable.
Yeah.
And you're exhausted from running around following this guy the whole time. I mean, it's a calculated disaster in Minnesota. Like, no offense, but bring your ass may have been the downfall of the Timberwolves. I mean, because you're showing your ass.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, it's everywhere. You're clearly out of breath. You're a superstar. You're supposed to take advantage of moments. Draymond Green needs to work like this, and he can. These are the differences.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Draymond can outwork you. Certain guys can outwork. Kyrie is making you look silly, Anthony Edwards. You don't need to play like this. Hey, man, you can slug with them, but you're a better boxer. What are we doing?
Yeah. Kyrie is just so much faster than him. so much more faster, so much more athletic. Uh, Edwards is there physicality wise. He has his athleticism to him also. But yeah, Kyrie I mean, he can literally take the ball and just do circles around Edwards if he wanted to. Just sit there and dribble around circles around him and not be tired, and two, never even get the ball stolen from him.
He doesn't. Yeah, his goal. He doesn't need to score all the more points.
Mm-hmm.
You need, like, Anthony Edwards needs 35 for Minnesota to get over the top here.
Yeah.
And Kyrie's like, dude, I'll get 24, but you ain't getting the fourth quarter. You're not going to get the fourth quarter.
No, he could get the fourth and them still win the game.
Yeah, because he's not going to allow them to have the fourth quarter. Edwards will never be able to do what he needs to do in the fourth quarter. And Irving understands moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dr. J once said that he was afraid that LeBron James understood most of the game, but he didn't understand moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so 28 in the first half doesn't matter unless you're going to score in the high 50s.
Yeah.
You have to duplicate it again. Whereas Michael would look at points where he's like, hey, man, if you can get 16 in the first half and get people thinking to double you can get others involved, and then everybody feels like they're a part of the game.
Mm-hmm. And that was a Phil Jackson thing, too. He did the same thing with Kobe. I mean, that was a famous Phil Jackson was trying to pull that. And then what was that? The famous game where the second half Kobe didn't take a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a game 7, by the way, in the playoffs, they lost that game. Kobe didn't make a shot because they were trying to do the same thing to them that Jack is explaining what Jordan used to do. Well, Phil wanted to do that with Kobe. But Kobe didn't have any role players around him, and he wanted to prove a point. And what they do next the following year? They went out and got Paul Gasol.
Yeah, and I mean that was a great move. But you know, I think here's how I would play this. If I were the Timberwolves, you got to start watching tape and you got to start watching moments. And you know, I don't care if Towns disappears late. It doesn't matter to me because he could be a passer for Gobert. Those two work well together.
Mm-hmm.
Let Cat go off in the first half, and you guard anybody but Kyrie. You can, in fact, Anthony Edwards could probably guard Luka. Luka's not fast.
No, Luka's not fast at all. No, he's just
he's
big.
not. He's not going to run you off all these screens. He's 6'8", you're 6'4". It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Or go guard one of their other players that doesn't. You know, everybody sits there and they go, well, Jordan wouldn't guard the best player because he knew what needed to be done.
Yes. He guarded who he needed to guard.
Scotty can give you 19 and guard their best player. But I have to go out and score 45 because Scotty can't score 40. Oh, Scotty's just as good. Stop that. Scotty never scored 45.
No.
Scotty never dominated games, right? Even when Jordan went away for that year, he never went out and scored like 52 ever because he couldn't. He could defend their best player and give you 19. So Mike saw the better value in people. I wasn't going to be valuable enough to the team if I'm running around guarding their best guy. Now, if I need to steal the guy's heart for 3 minutes because he's going off, I will. But that was the stuff that he did. Edwards doesn't need to go out and do this, and it doesn't make any sense. That's my problem is, like, what are we trying to? Are you trying to prove points, or are you trying to win the game? Because if you lose the game, I don't care what your point was.
And Jordan did this by winning multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards too, by the way. So he wasn't a scrub. He wasn't just an all-time great scorer. Like, he was an all-time great basketball player. Like, he could play both ends of the floor. And he was a great, great defender that a lot of people forget that he was.
Right, but in the Blazers game, he went, okay, look, I'm going to rip Clyde Drexler's heart out. I'm going to drop 30 in the first half of these threes. Right, and I'm going to guard Terry Porter because Terry's not the aggressor. He was a 3-and-D guy when they weren't popular yet. You know, let Scotty run around and grab Clyde. Let John Paxson even grab Clyde because he's scrappy every once in a while. But I don't need to be doing that. They're going to need me in the second half in real scoring moments. And that's what we're missing here. It's not guard the best guy all the time. And I wouldn't knock LeBron for doing it either. But my whole point is that LeBron, to me, has to guard the best guy because he's not a pure scorer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great basketball player and he makes the best plays, but he's not going to be able to give you 45 at will.
Who?
LeBron.
Oh, LeBron could give you 45 at will.
Not at will.
He just needs to shoot the ball all the time. That's it.
Well, the
like,
thing
is he
that,
a good jump shooter? No, I'm
No.
with you on that. But he can drive the basketball still at his age better than 98% of the players in the NBA still.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, like, if I said, hey, Ray Allen, I want you on their third best player, but we need 45 from you tonight. Ray Allen, give me 45.
Well, I mean, he could shoot the ball all over the court.
Right.
So it's a little bit easier. But I still believe that LeBron has a mindset where he can get you that 45. Yeah, it's going to be 45, but you're going to lose.
Well, that's not the point, Greg.
I am just saying he'll get you the 45, but you're going to lose.
He'll get you 45, but just to let you guys know.
So to ask you a question here.
LeBron fans will be defending his 45.
I'm not a big LeBron fan.
No, so. I know, but he was saying,
bring it.
But you know what he did.
Bring it. Question for you though: Who in the NBA do you think is the best player at recognizing moments?
Oh, that's a real good question. The best player right now?
Right now, yeah.
At recognizing moments. So I don't think he's necessarily as gifted as he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the best player at recognizing moments right now is Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
I still think that he's from the school of Popovich. He's the only player ever to leave his couch, go play for another team, and take them to a championship.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him score 8 points in a row when a team scored a 3, and then he made a 2-pointer and then guarded that guy. And then he made another 2-pointer and guarded that guy. He took control of 4 minutes of a basketball game when he was on the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still in the league. He's not exactly what he used to be because of that degenerative knee problem, that arthritic knee. But he knows how to steal 4 minutes from you at the exact moment.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's Kawhi Leonard.
Okay. All right. I would say Jokic is another good one. He recognizes moments very, very well. And, I mean, from everything yesterday, I mean, I know he's not the biggest superstar in the world, but Jrue Holiday, I mean, come on. He recognized it. He recognized it last night. He's like, listen, you guys didn't meet the whole game. All right, watch. I know this is a moment we need. I'm going to get us the points we need. I'm going to get us that steal we need.
Yeah, Jrue Holiday's a great guy, too.
And this isn't the first game he has done that. He has done this in multiple games, even throughout this year.
Yeah, Jrue Holiday's a great guy, too. He actually he left the NBA for a year. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not know.
He left the NBA for a year because his wife fell ill. And she needed him. And, he said, with all due respect, guys, she needs me more than basketball needs me. So I'm just going to...
I mean, life is more than a sport.
Yeah, he's like, we'll see what happens, but done. I'm not going to sign the retirement papers, but we'll see what happens here. And, that's what happened. She fell ill, and he left the league for a year, and, go Jrue Holiday.
Wow, yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So Dallas.
Right, what else we got for Dallas here?
I think here's the real problem. The real problem is the smartest player on the basketball court is Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem for Minnesota because he's already played the Edwards card.
Mm-hmm.
He's already got Anthony Edwards in his bag. He's a little Dennis Rodman like. He looks like Yoda. I mean, look at him. He looks like Yoda, and he's a little Dennis Rodman like, right? And I think Towns and Anthony Edwards have so much youthful hubris that they don't even know that he's setting traps.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, Luka Doncic still plays over there.
Oh yeah.
So if you're talking about Batman and Robin, right? Like Batman gets all the credit, but Robin sets all the traps for Batman to look good, and that's what's going on right now. He's absolutely just set. Like they were down by 14. Kyrie will hit 2 threes, and then he'll get to the line. You're like, oh, we're only up by 6. Forgive me if my math wasn't great there, but you get the point. He's just
Yeah.
setting traps, and you're starting to get comfortable, and then he goes to the bench, and you're mad because he just did something, and you're like, "Oh, here comes 6'8" Doncic. Now we got to deal with this guy, and now Hardaway comes in. Now you got Doncic and Hardaway, and I just don't think Minnesota is smart enough. Like Dallas is happy to let you lead by 8 all game.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, as long as there are a couple shots within the game with the last final 2 minutes of the game, which they think they could pull out at any time. They have that confidence.
Minnesota's really working hard too. Like they are working harder, not smarter. And ladies and gentlemen, like you might want to do that when you're young. Oh, I'm going to work so hard. Let me explain to you something. Hard work is excellent, but the bosses notice if you have the leadership to get others to follow you and get the same work done without burning everyone out.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? So you think blood, sweat, and tears, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if you can get a couple other people around you, that's what gets noticed. And I just think that Dallas they're probably going to lose a game or two coming forward. Let's hope so, because otherwise this finals coming out as quick.
And to piggyback off of what you just said, as far as working hard with the Timberwolves, you seen that last game. Yeah, they were working hard, but they looked tired. They did. They looked tired. They look like they already went through 2 or 3 7-game series by now.
Because they are trying to get every rebound, and they're trying to set this monster tone, and they're being the lead dancer. But at the end of it,
they're trying to be the bully, but they're not.
Yeah,
because when they are rested, they can out-bully Dallas. They could. They have the physicality to do that. But when you're tired and you try to out-bully somebody with skill and with good coaching, you find out it's a lot harder.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's skill and good coaching. It's almost like one of the greatest American movies of all time. We'll mention on Memorial Day, Rocky III. Starts off with fireworks. I don't care what you guys say, you're wrong. Okay, it's the greatest, right? It is. But we can learn something from that, right? Not all the other stuff, but the end fight against Clubber Lang, where he's throwing haymakers to knock him out, and he's working hard. I mean, he's trying to kill Balboa, but he's hitting on the gloves. Yeah, every single punch. And then he starts touching the mohawk, right? And my mother hits harder than that. Come on, is that all you got? Whole world's watching. Swing. Hit me. And that's what's happening. That's Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving sitting there going, Edwards, the whole world's watching, right? You're the next Michael Jordan. You're the next Michael Jordan.
Let's see it.
Whole world's watching. You can guard me, right? That's what he's doing. And he's getting absolutely gassed. And then all of a sudden, it's Irving throwing jab after jab after jab and just pummeling his head and neck and skull backwards. And all of a sudden you're like, Jesus, I was working so hard.
Get up. I didn't hear no bell. Get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you.
Well, but that's what's going on now. I mean,
exactly. He's just
and that's Minnesota 1, 2, and halfway through the third quarter, and they're so tired. Right. And the guy in the corner, the coach is going, hey, stop wasting punches on him.
Yeah.
And it's the youthful hubris that just keeps pushing these. Oh, we'll show them. We could run forever. You can't.
Yeah. No, you can't. No.
We did it in Denver.
Yeah.
We did it in Denver.
You had different people at Denver. You know,
Denver was a little tired from their run too. Like you were able to run the old. Joker looks 47.
Yeah.
I mean,
so while we're on this Dallas topic, something that I seen on, I think it was First Take I seen, just a topic. I didn't get to hear what they said, even though I really like to. So I'm wondering what your opinion on this is. We're talking about Kyrie Irving, and we all know a couple years ago, like it was nothing but bad things was coming out about him. It was nothing basketball wise was coming out. It was all personal stuff. He ended up getting a pretty bad rap, and everything well deserved too. Everything that was going on. But do you think this resurgence in his career kind of made us change the way we think of him? Made us think more of his how great of a basketball player he is now, as opposed to the chump stuff that he was doing before?
So the one thing you have to understand about Kyrie is he's loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, he went to Boston because he grew up not too far away. Right. And, there was a loyalty there and he wanted the fans to do this and whatever. I don't know the whole story. Nobody ever will. Mm-hmm. And the New Jersey thing, right? And when they hired, he didn't want Kevin Nash to be Kevin Nash. Steve Nash. What's Steve Nash going to tell and teach me? He doesn't even believe that Steve Nash should have won those MVPs. He thought those were Kobe's. In fact, he walked into Steve Nash's house when he was invited there and said, "What are you doing with Kobe's trophies in here?"
I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. He said that right at dinner. He goes, and he said it joking around, but and Steve let it fly. But at the end of the day, Kyrie started holding opposite practices on the opposite side of the court against Steve. That's how bad it got. Yeah. And, but he's loyal to Kobe to a fault.
Mm-hmm. But Nets, he didn't play much for the Nets, by the way, when he was there with Brooklyn. No. He didn't play hardly at all because he was either hurt or suspended or, there was a lot of factors when he went to Brooklyn.
So, again, here's the loyalty thing.
So, for him to be holding double different practices than Steve Nash, that's a little ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. But so again, here's more of the loyalty thing. So he wouldn't take the COVID shots. We're not going to talk about that. But he did not want to take them because him and his girlfriend were trying to have a child and they were having real difficulties. And that was rumored and still could be, I don't know, but one of the side effects of it is that, you would have trouble having and delivering a child. So he didn't want to participate in that at all. Again, it's loyalty. Now, he was an asshole.
And again, that is your personal choice. If you decided not to get the vaccine, I'm not putting that on him. That's a choice. I'm talking about everything besides that.
The Steve Nash. Yeah. You're an ass. He's loyal to an asshole's fault. He's, what he is? He's Rajon Rondo.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He's smarter than everybody and he tells you, and your nose is up in the air, and you could be trying as hard as everybody else. Hey, man, listen, I know you're God's gift to basketball, but he doesn't always treat everyone fairly.
That's what he was known for when he went to Brooklyn and the Celtics. Or the Celtics, then Brooklyn. He was known as a basketball god. He was known as a guy that's going to take whatever franchise he goes to the next level. And unfortunately, he was more of a cancer with those teams than he was as savior.
Well, what was supposed to happen was he was to take over the Batman role, right? Because Kevin Durant is not a one. He's a shooter, but he doesn't like the media. So Kyrie Irving was supposed to deal with all the media stuff. And, Durant was supposed to sit to his right, his right-hand man. And what ended up happening was all that other stuff started happening. And he's like, you know what? I'm not answering this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to participate in putting my social life out there. And I think he got pressure from ownership. And I don't think that the Steve Nash thing was good, nor was it maybe his character. But I do think he has asshole tendencies.
Oh, he definitely had or has asshole tendencies. He's proved it. He's proved it throughout his NBA career. There is a reason why we stopped talking about him as an NBA player, because of the crap that he was pulling off the court and the crap he was pulling on the court. You're not there for your guys, you're not there. And I'm not talking about the vaccine thing. That's his choice, whether you do it, whether you don't. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about all the other asshole stuff that he has done. And as far as him taking questions from the media, he's never been good with the media. Even when he was with the Cavs, he wasn't good with the media. He was just good because LeBron James took everything.
Well, he is very, he's very Rajon Rondo. He's very Dennis Rodman.
I want to point this out real quick. Kyrie Irving is a very smart person. We're not talking about a dumb person here. Like he's a guy that knows what's going on. He is a very smart guy. So we're not talking about a guy that's oblivious to this.
No, I mean what he's doing is calculated, but for the same things that we don't that we're giving him kind of shit for is the games he's playing with Edwards now.
It's fine with the games. I'm fine with that. I'm talking about the other stuff that came involved. The Twitter stuff. Not being there for your team. He doesn't have any of that going on right now. Like he is a quintessential team player right now. And that's always been the knock on Kyrie, is that he's not a team player.
Well, he's not a lead guitarist, but he's a fan. But he's the best amplifier.
But he was. That's good. But he was a lead guitarist.
I don't know if he ever was. I think he was a drummer.
You don't think?
He set the rhythm for the band. No, he set the rhythm for the band, right? But if the band was starting to act up, Kyrie would act up too. And I think that whole Nets situation was all an act up.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it was all him, but he's like, hey, you guys are messing around? I'll show you what messing around looks like.
Yeah.
Dallas is an organization that is professional and doesn't mess around. So all that's done is taking the amplifier and make him sound better.
So then what you're saying is Kyrie just needed structure around him. That's it.
If he's in a bad group of friends, Well, think about the Cleveland thing. He only started being a certain way when he heard that LeBron James wanted to play with Chris Paul, and LeBron James was starting to maneuver things away from Kyrie. That was the whole thing there. And even Brian Windhorst was like, I think Kyrie's acting out because he doesn't want to be thought of as a second fiddle. He knows LeBron's relationship with Chris Paul, and he's trying to kind of get him here. And he's like, if I know a little bit of this, Kyrie knows a lot. And he felt disrespected. By the way, Kyrie won that game for LeBron James to have his first title.
Oh, absolutely. LeBron. No, I get it. Yeah, no, I get that. I really do. Kyrie, like I said, he amazing talent. There's a reason why he was, all the other stuff aside, he was given multiple chances, handing franchises over to him. Here's the Celtics for you. Take it over. Here's the Nets. Take it over.
I do like, too, that, and this needs to be said, I think, that Kyrie's been a life mentor to Luka, right? So Luka always, he said he took it really hard when he would miss a game-winning shot, or when the media would portray him this way, or he wasn't doing enough here. And Kyrie goes, look, man, it's just basketball. At the end of the day, we're trying to win games, sure, but let's go get lunch or something, or let's go do something else. Go do something else. And
get your mind off the game.
Get your mind off of it. None of that matters anyway. They've got a whole laundry list of stories to write. That's their job now. Like, that's their job. Your job was to make the shot. It didn't happen. Maybe it'll happen tomorrow and they'll love you again. And I actually think that he enjoys being in the Kobe Bryant role almost. Like what Kobe did for him, now he's doing for somebody else. I think he's enjoying teaching.
Okay. I could see that. I know he is embracing this role way more than he embraced his last two stops. He seems happy again. He does. Doesn't he? Like his whole demeanor has changed. He does. He seems happy. He's joking around with the reporters. You didn't see that before.
It's because everybody was working against them.
But were they working? Were they really working against them, or were they just reporting on the bull crap that he was doing?
I don't know. I think Boston was brutal. Boston really hurt him, and then he would have done anything to get out. I mean, he would have, he would have done anything. And then he went to the Nets, and he thought that the Nets was kind of going to be a safety net, if you will. And that was miserable. And I think Cuban and him had a meeting or something, and he's like, hey, what's the deal? And he just laid all of his cards out. He's like, look, this is what's going on. Hey, I'll stay there if you want to buy the franchise. Like the Nets have been up for sale too a couple times. Like nobody wants them. They're the forgotten team in New York, and I think he got tired of trying to save places.
And that's the thing. The Brooklyn needed saving.
You
The
know,
Celtics needed that last player to try to get them over the hump. They needed saving.
I think he got tired of trying to save places, and he just went, you know what? If I'm gonna play for the next 5 years, I just want to play basketball. I just want to shut up and dribble,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe I can.
Go ahead.
Then maybe I can have fun and do other things. But let's be honest, that's all I want to do right now.
Mm-hmm. And with the my whole point on the thing is that he changed his narrative. He changed his story. People aren't thinking like they did 2 years ago about him. They are actually thinking about the basketball player and how great of a basketball player Kyrie is again.
Well, yeah, because Luka sticks up for him too.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what you want. That's what
Well,
you want. You want your teammates to stick up for you. But when you're talking about, I can't remember exactly what the whole tweet. It had something to do with some Jewish book or something that was written. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but he didn't apologize for it. He doubled down on what he was saying. So like it was one of those things that it was away from the basketball court. We're back onto the basketball court with Kyrie. And that's where it should be. He changed his narrative. He changed his story. No. Was he? Was that what it was? I to be honest with you, I don't remember. I just remember he was getting a lot of backlash for some type of book that was written that he read. He quoted something in it, and he got bashed for it.
My greatest Kyrie Irving story is he came out and he said that the world was flat. Hold on.
I remember when that happened. Yeah.
I remember. Now hold on now. Like not too many people remember that he went to Duke University. So I called up to Duke University administrations and I asked for their teacher. I asked for their science teacher. And whatever, they put me on the phone with them and they're like, hey, they're trying to enroll me. I go, no, I just want to understand what we're teaching here because one of your students thinks the world is flat. One of your former students. The guy's like, no, he goes, that's not what we teach here. This is like a prank call. I go, no, it's not. Kyrie Irving thinks the world is flat. So I'm just wondering, like, you know, are we teaching the global sphere here, or am I gonna walk off a cliff? And the guy kind of chuckled and he's like, I assure you that is not what I teach here. But like, that guy's probably going home to his wife going, I got the strangest call today. I had a gentleman from Pennsylvania ask me about the flat earth because of one of my former students. I got a call. Does he know he dribbles a round ball? Damn it. I swear to God, I did that. I have time on my hands.
That's funny.
Well, so it is Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of like? Let's segue a little bit. Let's lighten the mood. I don't want to talk about Kyrie all day.
No. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were. It was a topic that was, I believe, on First Take, and they had a valid point that he did change his narrative. He changed his story. We're talking good things on Kyrie now instead of bashing him for every little thing. So I just thought it was interesting.
No, that's totally interesting. What do we? So I'm a big when I go to cookouts. Right, I know there's flat tops, there's propanes, all that other stuff. To me, cookout food needs to have the charcoal coal feel to it. Otherwise, I can do propane kind of anywhere, right? I could do flat top, I could do all these. But you can't do, and I'm gonna explain. You can't do charcoal grill anywhere because you die, right? You can't just do charcoal in your house.
No,
carbon will kill, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be it's a definite outside thing. You can't, wake up in your living room, right? Dig a hole and start doing some charcoal. Right? I'll promise you it's not going to go well. But I mean, you can add that flavoring to your burger and your hot dog. I just don't see a better flavor. How about you?
Oh, I totally agree. Up until this year, that's all I did was charcoal. I wasn't a big propane guy because sometimes especially with porous meat, you get that propane flavor sometimes.
A little bit.
Yeah, yep. And with charcoal, you get that charcoal flavor. You get that good barbecue flavor, So I'm with you on that. This is my first year. I got a Blackstone flat top. So I am super excited about using it tomorrow. I have a good friend who is a chef, Nick, who drops comments in here. He has a Blackstone that he absolutely loves. So I took his recommendation and I got one for myself. So I will have more opinions on it, but from what I've seen, you could do everything that you do on a regular grill on a flat top, plus more. So that's one of the reasons why I went that way. Am I gonna miss that charcoal flavor? Absolutely, I'm gonna miss that charcoal flavor. But I didn't go with the no. See, I like the charcoal flavor though.
I'll tell you why. Because you can get a charcoal grill for like $30.
Yeah, but the reason why I got away from charcoal was the fact that it takes so long to get it going.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
But start the charcoal grill, then make all the other food for everybody else on the flat top, and then you have yourself a moment. And you have yourself a moment, right? Because I don't care how long. Listen, as long as I got a couple beverages. I don't care how long it takes for me to cook my food. I'm enjoying my time. My wife, she's like, I want to eat. I'm like, listen, you should have figured this out. When you want it, when I say, when do you want me to start the grill? You should probably plan your day 20 minutes ahead of that. Everything else, because I'm not cooking anything else. By the way, I have a complaint about the big green egg.
Oh, this was something that I almost went and got, actually. So tell me what your complaint is.
This is the complaint. I like everything it stands for, except the circumference of cooking area is not large.
No, it's big. It's tall.
Great. So I'm paying $300 for big and tall.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting screwed.
Yeah.
For what? I've never sat there once after taking a fillet or whatever you want to ribeye off the charcoal grill and go, you know what? It just didn't look good while it was in there cooking. I don't care really what it looks like. It cooked the meat evenly is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Right? The steam, the charcoal, the flavor's all there. And if you go look at a Weber. That's what I want you guys to do. Go look at one of those Webers you can get for like $70, right? Because they put them out in red, white, and blue for the season, right? Smart by Weber. All right. $80. Go. I want you to bring your tape measure. Don't even bring it. Go to the tape measure aisle and pretend you're, trying to measure stuff, right? You're trying to see if it works, and take it over to the grill aisle. That's American.
Yeah, there you go.
You walk your Stanley tape right over, and I want you to measure the taping area. It looks like I'm dancing right now, but I'm not. I want you to measure the grilling area, and when you're measuring the grilling area, I want you to walk over to the egg too and measure. It's going to be the same. But what am I paying for? That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah, what are you paying for? What is the quality of the green egg?
I'm gonna tell you what you're paying for. You're paying for your neighbor who has the $500,000 house next to you. When you go out to get each other's mail, go, oh, so you got a big green egg over there. That's really what you're paying for. You know that.
You're paying for clout is what you're paying for.
Paying for the conversation. Oh, I have a Traeger. I was thinking about getting the Traeger, but I went with the egg. My wife really liked the green and went with their drapes. That's what you're paying for.
Gotcha.
That's my complaint.
It's same thing. I mean, I got the Blackstone because of the name too. It's one of the better ones. I could have got one for way cheaper, half the price what I paid for this one. But you pay for the name, you pay for the quality. Hopefully, you're paying for the quality, I should say.
You have the grilling space though in the area. There's no grilling space area issue. It's not. The green egg is like Kyrie Irving's flat Earth. Like eventually, you can't put any more burgers on there. I couldn't get through that analogy.
I'll tell you one thing though, with the whole flat top thing. Give yourself a good couple hours when you first get one, because you have to season it, and you don't season it with salt, pepper, and garlic. By the way,
how do you do it?
You have to season it with some oil. What you do is you blast your flat top, turn it all the way up, wait till it starts discoloring a little bit on top. Then you put down your oil. You'll see it smoking like crazy. Spread it around evenly. Let it all burn off. Then you have to do it again like 4 or 5 times. And what you're saying is
make sure you have burgers for the fire department.
Well, yeah, no, you need some time to do it is what I'm saying. You don't open it up, you don't hook it up, and you just don't slap some meat on it. You have to season it first.
Child, let me just get the 16-year-old laugh at that. Just slap some meat on it. All right, so we got burgers, we got hot dogs. On the Blackstone, not the green egg. You people can call me and talk. We'll talk about circumference and diameter and how your math works out. We've got baseball.
Okay. Baseball.
We've got baseball. And, Philadelphia Phillies are still the best team in baseball. As we speak, they are 38 and 15. They are on an absolute tear. You have a couple of teams that are doing well. You got the Yankees at 37 and 17. The Guardians are 35 and 17. And everybody else is kind of just in fights, right? The NL Central's wide open. You got the Brewers at 30 and 21. Cubs are right behind them at 27 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
A couple players of note right now that are making these teams so good. Like the Yankees, 37-17. Well, Jack, but why? I'll tell you why. Because Stanton's got 13 home runs. Juan Soto, the guy that they picked up from the Pods, right? He's got 43 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge has 39 RBIs and 17 home runs. He's tied for the league lead in home runs. I mean, it's not just the guys getting on base. Sure, you got to load them. But, I mean, you got to bring them in. So where even if the pitching's good or the pitching's bad, you still have to score enough runs to win. And I know it seems simple, but you have to go out there and give your guy a little bit of confidence. If you're up 5-2, it feels good. There's not as much pressure on the staff. And even if you give up another run or two, you get out of there 5-4. It's a W.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're not all going to be blowouts, but that's how Yankees are getting some of their games. The Orioles, how about this? This kid had a tough time. I do want to mention this guy. He had a tough time, came in halfway through the year, and he was expected to be this, that, and the other thing. Gunnar Henderson. What a fantastic name, right?
Oh, it's an awesome name.
Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson had a tough he had a learning curve. Let's put it that way. Right? Struck out a bunch, was dealing with some stuff, and 37 RBIs this year for the Orioles, 32 and 18 team, and 17 home runs. Gunnar has figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
He's really driving in the guys when they're on base. He's playing up to the potential that when he was brought in and drafted and called up from AAA, they thought that he was just going to come in seamlessly, and, it never happens that way. But Gunnar's really having himself a nice year, and it's nice to see it. It's nice to see it. We'll move on to the Philadelphia Phillies because they're the story of the league right now.
Quick question about the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yankees had a really good starting off last year until Judge got hurt. As soon as Judge got hurt, that's when they started tanking really bad. It's when they lost their playoffs, didn't get in the playoff, right? They missed the playoffs last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Because Judge got hurt. What about if Judge gets hurt again? Do they have enough on their staff to keep going, or are they pretty much done again?
No, I mean, they won't be able to go. I mean, let's put things quite honest. The Judge doesn't do great in the playoffs. He'll get you to the playoffs. But he doesn't do
no,
great
but I'm just saying for the regular season, we're not talking. Can if they lose Judge for a significant time, can they still make the playoffs?
I think they can because they got two other guys, and I'm not privy to their names because I wasn't prepared for the question, but they have two other guys that are big dudes like Judge. And if you guys are Yankees fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think that you're going to start seeing Judge take a day or two off. Oh, but they shouldn't stop it. It's baseball. Sometimes they're 4 days. Okay. Your hands get beat up. Your quads get beat up. You're a bigger, muscular guy. If you need to pull back a day and let this other guy go 0 for 3 and you're going to kill me for this, while you beat the White Sox 4-2.
No, that's fine. Hey, we suck. I'm fine.
But at least, okay. I wasn't taking a shot, but
yeah. I mean, if I'm fine with somebody taking a shot on my other teams, except for the Niners.
That was a fair shot, by the way.
But very fair, actually.
because I said the Yankees are guys. I said that guy's going to go 0 for 3, but he's going to go up against major league pitching.
Yes.
And if you're going to win the game 4-2, it was a valuable start and a valuable day off for Aaron Judge. And I think they're going to do stuff like that. I think they'll be fine. I think 37 and 17. I don't think you're going to get to 100 wins, but you're going to be high 80s, maybe 92 wins. And they're a real team. They're not a joke. The division is weak. Here's what's crazy. Here's your surprises. The Blue Jays, 23 and 28. All that talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
23 and 28, dead last. The Rays,
Mm-hmm.
actually, by a lot of people, were picked to win that division, 25 and 28.
Wow. Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these are real problems. The Red Sox, 26 and 26. And by the way, they were picked to finish dead last. So for all you Sox fans, you should be thrilled at a 500 record with a super young team.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would kill to have a 500 record at this point. I mean, we're 15 and 38 with the team that last year we were supposed to be pretty good, a young up and coming team, added a few veterans for the leadership, and we still stunk. So,
well, let's talk about the division real quick, right? The White Sox are 15 and 38. We'll start from bottom up, okay? 15 and 38 is not good. They'll get a high draft pick, and we don't need to dwell on that, okay? The Tigers started out hot.
Yes,
they've since cooled off. 25 and 27, super young team. They're dealing with the growing pains as well. I'm a Twins guy. I have fantastic friends that work inside the organization. They started off really tough. I mean, you know, let's be honest here too, right? It was cold up in Minnesota. You can hit that ball if you want to, but that bat's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah.
I don't care what gloves you got. I mean, people were showing up in parkas and hats the game, shivering away, right? That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
But Twins, 28 and 23, slowly starting to hit the ball well. They did well against the Rangers, and I know that the Rangers aren't a great benchmark right now, but the Rangers won the World Series last year. Then you got the Royals at 34 and 19, and then the Guardians at 35 and 17.
17, which is a big story for me. I didn't think the Guardians was going to do much this year. I still want to call them the Indians, by the way.
That's fine. You can do that. It's so, you know what it is. It's a lot of. Let me give this guy a shout out. It's Jose Ramirez. He's got 51 RBIs and 15 home runs. I mean, he's absolutely rocking it. Absolutely rocking it. And then the Royals, right? You got Bobby Witt Jr., who they gave that contract to, deserving or not, I don't know, but he has 35 RBIs. And then you got Miguel Garcia with another 33 RBIs. So the Royals are just, and not a lot of home runs. They're just playing small ball. They're getting their wins and they're getting out of there.
The last year the White Sox won the World Series with Ozzie Guillen as the or as the manager. That's what we did. We played small ball. We didn't win with a lot of home runs. We won with small ball. I love to see small ball played. I really, really do. A lot of people like to see the long ball, this and that. Playing small ball is more sustainable in major leagues than hitting the long ball all the time.
Look, it's called baseball.
Yeah.
Right. It's take and earn your bases.
Yeah, it's not the home run derby.
It's not the home run derby. It's not boring either if you're really paying attention and watching a lot of things. I mean, I love, as I've gotten older, I love baseball. It's just a game where you sit there and you can miss a little bit of it and haven't missed anything.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I always look at sports like this, right? I think that football is a TV sport. NBA to me, TV sport. Because even if you're in those bleachers, it's tough to see and all these other things, right? I think NBA, NFL, TV sport. Hockey and NASCAR, you got to be there.
Yeah.
NASCAR, the roar of the engine. Hockey, the guy hitting off the glass.
Off the glass. Okay? Yep.
Baseball to me has always been a radio sport. That's where it began with the tubes and all that other stuff, right? Yeah. Take Me Out to the Ball Game was on the radio, it was on a microphone. And like, by the way, you could be sitting all over your Blackstone grill, talking to your buddies, having a few beverages, listen to local announcers who know stuff about the guy and his where his mother used to work and all these other things. And it not matter. You see the kids running around, you're playing horseshoes, which is one of my favorite Memorial Day games. And all of a sudden, you know, you're in the 7th inning and somebody does crack the ball and they give you the score of the game. Oh, rounding third. But that's baseball. It's not meant for you to be there the whole time. But when things get interesting, it highlights it. The camera zooms in. That's what I think baseball is. Okay.
All right. I like it. I like where you're going with that. It's definitely a better live game than seeing it on TV. Yeah. I just think on TV, you kind of just get bored a little bit. You just kind of sit back, sometimes maybe flipping channels in the commercial, and then you forget the game's on, you come back, you know. I'm with you though. Baseball is one of those things you can get up, you can walk around a little bit, you come back, and then you didn't miss much. But if you're at the game, actually, I shouldn't even just say baseball, just sports in general. If you go to a game, it's so much better than watching it on TV. Basketball's a little tough, like you said. It's hard to see. Football, still, you could see anywhere, any seat. You could be up in the nosebleed sections, and you could still see the field somewhat good. And if you can't, you got the big screens right there in the middle of the field, so you're good with that with football. But yeah, baseball, I'm with you. Baseball it's a slower sport. You know what I mean? It's a sport that it's a more lax sport. It's a more chill sport. Yeah. Yes.
Take your time.
Yes. Yes.
We're watching pitch counts. We're watching runners. We're watching, hey, is that guy moving a little bit, or is the hip open? Like you're really, there's 15 things to watch during one throw.
Yeah.
Philly's best team in baseball.
Do you like the count, the countdown, whatever you call it, the pitch clock?
I do. I want it to be modified.
Okay. And what's your idea as far as modifying it? Because I love it personally. I absolutely love it.
I just want 5 seconds added to it.
Okay.
I nothing crazy, but I feel like 25 should be where we're at.
Okay.
Not 20.
So like they're being rushed a little bit.
Just a tinge. I feel like because, and here's the other thing. I don't know. The pitcher and the catcher now have a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing the thing with his hands and all this other stuff. He's just telling them through the thing.
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I don't either.
I feel like if you gave him the 25, you could do the signals and all that other stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't need the technology everywhere. Another thing I don't like.
Do you know who else doesn't like that?
Who?
The Houston Astros. They can't stand it.
Well, that was a perfectly placed joke. Yeah, they can't stand it either.
Like, what the hell? How the hell are we going to win a World Series now?
I don't like index. I don't like outfielders having index cards about what batter's up. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. Again, you're helping them lean in a certain direction. You're helping them change, and all. They should be able. This is baseball. They should be paying attention. You know, there's you guys are getting paid millions of dollars. Care about the game. You know, the whole index card under the hat.
Fred Warner, Niners inside linebacker, pulled out an index card right before the play to get a freaking shot on, whatever running back's in there right now. This running back likes to run to the left. All right, well,
but that's where we're trending a little bit.
I know, but that's horrible. Like you said, be a professional. This is your job. This is your sport. Know your opponents.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I don't like it. But you got the Phillies with Bryce Harper, 41 RBIs. And 13 home runs. Mm-hmm. And he just smashed one opposite field last night that probably went 420 yards or 420 feet. 420 feet opposite field. And the thing just kept going. 41 RBIs, 13 home runs. And really, but he's not even – it's the Phillies team as a collective. Mm-hmm. That's really the problem right here. Usually, you could point to a batter that is the weakness. This guy's playing weak. This guy's playing. Scott's playing fantastic in Philly. Harper's playing great. You got all these guys. Schwarber's playing great. How about Alec Baum, the third baseman his ceiling would have been Gunnar Henderson. That's what they were hoping out of him. Big strapping dude, right? Fantastic ball player. He's got 46 RBIs. Like your Alec Baum's a problem. Roger Clemens' kid, Cody Clemens. He rapped a home run the other day, and you couldn't tell whether it was necessarily Harper or him. He's your 9 batter. He's your 9.
Yeah.
Well, then what do you want me to do? I'm just going to look over at my coach and go, the 9 guy. By the way, this wasn't left or right field. He rapped it to center. Wow. Home run. 412, I think, on the fly.
So he crushed it.
You got real problems here because, I don't care. Shohei Ohtani's having a nice year for the Dodgers, 13 home runs, 35 RBIs. But how's he going to pitch to these players?
Yeah.
How the Braves are having a nice year, 29-20. They got no chance to beat the Phillies.
The Dodgers are one of those teams. I don't care what they do anymore. They have had so many great records the last, 4 or 5 years and done absolutely nothing. So I don't care what their record is in the regular season. I don't care what they're doing until they make it the World Series. I don't care what the Dodgers do. They
I
mean
don't like the
nothing to me.
Dodgers. I
It's
don't
one
like
of
the
those things.
Dodgers.
They go out, they make a splash every year in free agency, and what do? They do great during a regular season, and then as soon as the playoffs hit, they're done.
I don't like their history, so
Yeah.
it says it all. Dodgers.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
You picked up, you left New York. No, I just don't like the Dodgers.
Yeah, yeah,
Not a
yeah, I
big,
get
not a
like,
big.
listen, I get it. I'm not a huge fan of them either, but for a different reason, just for the fact that, again, you don't do anything. You are the main story throughout the whole year, like how great you guys are doing. This player's doing good. This player's doing good. You guys lead the major leagues in wins. What do you do when the playoffs get here? Nothing. So
Well,
until they absolutely do something, I don't care about the Dodgers.
here's a great story. So the Arizona Diamondbacks went to the World Series last year, who I like. They're a nice young team.
Hmm.
And I know they beat the Phillies, and I'm a Phillies fan, but fun is fun, right?
Hmm.
And the Diamondbacks played carefree baseball. And here's what's interesting though: last year the Dodgers got their practice field. I think they paid more for it. They got sponsors, whatever. So they took over there because the Diamondbacks are a small, a step above a AAA team.
Hmm. Yeah, small market team. Yep.
So their whole goal all year was just to beat the Dodgers. They didn't care if they only won 10 games, if those 10 games were against the Dodgers. And the fantastic part about it was all year you could see they were late games, so I got to watch them. And they would fight the Dodgers. I mean, they would lose, but they would fight. Man, when they got to the playoffs and wrapped the hell out of them, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It just felt good. It just felt right. I mean, they're not having the best year this year, but there are teams that are surprising. Like this doesn't seem like they're playing well. But think about this: NL East, you got the Phillies leading, then you got the Braves, then you got the Nationals at 23 and 27. Real young team, not a lot there, but to win 23 games already, you're like, hey, okay, that's all right, that's a good job. And in the opposite fashion, your World Series champs are 24 and 29. Hold please though, in an AL West division, which its leader is the Seattle Mariners at 27 and 26. I mean, anybody could win it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Anybody could win that series.
The Astros are
division. I mean, yeah,
the Astros are going to win that division, though. Let me just tell. I just will end on this. I think the Astros win the division. Kyle Tucker has 17 home runs. He's that big lefty. 17 home runs, drags the bat to the mound. 37 RBIs. 17 home runs, 37 RBIs. So the thing is, like, he's 17 of those RBIs. No one's getting on base for the Astros. They get on base for them. They'll start winning some more games. They're 23 and 29. I'm not a big Astros fan. I hope they lose forever until the end of time. But for the love of God, can you help Kyle out, guys? No one's on base. He's crushing home runs. Just get on base. You'll win some more games. I mean, nobody else in that division is really putting forward anything else. And Kyle Tucker leads. He's tied for the lead in home runs in the majors. So the Yankees have a guy there. The Phillies have a guy there. The Astros have a guy there. Why are they the only team without a winning record? Now, that was my only takeaway from all these stats.
Yep. Well, I mean, one of those reasons why is because their away record isn't that good.
What bad is it?
9 and 14. I mean, you're 6 games below 500 on while you're away from home. It's not very good.
Not good.
I mean, most of your other teams the Yankees are 19 and 9 away. I mean, Orioles are 15 and 8. Red Sox are 16 and 11. Even the Devil Rays are 11 and 11. So, I mean, if they could switch that around to boost their away record up a little bit, I mean, you're right. They could easily win that division.
I mean, the hitting might be a problem for the whole team, but you have somebody leading the majors in a statistic. It's a little embarrassing. You're not doing anything for him.
And besides them sign stealing, I mean, they weren't the greatest hitters to begin with, even when they were winning the World Series or even going there. They were a good pitching team. They were a really good pitching team.
No, in Philly, you have to hide your women and children, but in Houston, not so much. I mean, they don't hit everything.
Philly, though, you do.
Oh, Philly? Oh, my God. You better put a helmet over your ladies. They'll crush everything in Philly.
Philly, that's a nice story for Philly, though. It really is, especially after last year.
And no one liked it either.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Nobody likes the Philly story. Yeah, it'll end. That's what everybody's saying. They're rooting for it to end.
Yeah.
You want to know why their fans are so angry? Because of shit said like that. Right? Like
Philly. Their fans are angry, period.
Yeah, but because nobody pats them on the back. They get a kick in the ass. That's it. That's all they get is a boot in the rear. That's it. That's what Philly goes, well, they're mad that if this was the Yankees, my God, there'd be 24-hour coverage on ESPN.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, you're right. Yeah, it would be.
And by the way, this Phillies team, if it keeps playing at this level, could break records and wins.
They could.
No.
They need to keep it. I mean, we all know baseball's very streaky. Very streaky.
It is, but usually this Philly team plays better at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. So they have in the past.
I'm just saying, like, it's streaky, but nobody's even having fun with the conversation. This Phillies team they're the Oakland A's Bash Brothers. Like, they're fun, right? They'll come out there and beat the hell out of you 16-5. And you're like, Jesus, they dropped 16. They're just out there and they're going to hit the hell out of the ball every single time out. They've got great pitching. They got a pitcher right now who's got an ERA of 1.5. His name is Rocco Suarez. He's their third best pitcher.
Wow.
He is I think he's 8-0. He's undefeated. There's never been a pitcher in Major League Baseball, you can name them all, that was undefeated with under a 2 ERA. Rocco Suarez is throwing curveballs that would have you spinning after you hit. I saw one the other day that it started outside the TV and came back in.
Wow.
I mean, and the guy, it came down, the guy swung, and he couldn't tell whether it was a curveball or a slider at the end. 84 miles an hour, all you can fall over and try to hit. I mean, it was crazy. He's the third best pitcher. Wow. Yeah. You got Zach Wheeler, you got Nola, and you got this dude who's undefeated with a 1.5 ERA.
You know what? It's crazy is it seems like this year there's a few really good teams in the major leagues, a few really good players that are making names for themselves, but yet you still hear more about a sport that has their off season, which is the NFL, than you do baseball. I turn on First Take. I don't hear anything about baseball, but I hear about 5 different stories on the NFL that's not even going on right now.
Well, it's baseball is starting to do a good job of marketing. You have to understand the head baseball guy, not the head baseball guy, but Mike Trout is boring. Aaron Judge he's like the biggest dog that doesn't bite. Right? You're like, oh, he's lovable. Like, your kid rides him like a horse. That's what Aaron and by the way, he's great for the sport, Aaron Judge. But there's nothing there, and baseball needs this Phillies team to win the World Series, and they need them to win this one and start being good next year, because now you have a story. And I wouldn't care. This could be at the Athletics. By the way, this was the Athletics back when Reggie Jackson played for them many moons ago. Okay, this could be any of those teams, but baseball needs some juice, not steroids,
not real juice, juice.
No, not that kind of juice.
But they do say chicks dig the long ball, so not saying that you should, but maybe think about it.
And baseball needs a little bit of help. So baseball needs to have an in-season playoff, I think.
Okay.
And there's nothing more American than having an in-season playoff. The last weekend, right? This is the greatest part of it. The middle of June, because we played a lot of games already, right? Okay, middle of June. And it ends, the World Series of this in-season playoff ends July 4th weekend.
Oh.
Yeah. See, or we can kick it off. I think if you kicked it off July 4th weekend, it'd be too late, because then you're playing until August, or you're playing until wherever, travel issues. But if you do that, here's what that team wins. They win an automatic wild card bid. Okay? And you're like, all right, they win an automatic wild card bid. But if they finish higher, they take whichever one they want.
Oh, so you give them a choice.
Yeah. How great is that?
That's different.
You give them,
that's different. Giving them a choice.
It's different, and it's fun because they won something. By the way, now this team has a new strategy. They don't need to use every pitcher from here to Timbuktu. They could rest some guys. They're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that they would have to, because maybe they want that first seed, and maybe right. But if guys start talking about a shoulder, you don't have to worry. Now you're still doing baseball stuff, right? You're still managing. You're still managing certain things, but you kind of did cut the season in half.
Mm-hmm.
The records all stand. All this stuff stands. But the most exciting day of baseball is opening day.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's nothing until August.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, nothing until the home run derby.
October. Yeah, and then October.
No. Well, home run derby, then All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
But you need something, I think, before that. And if you have that now, bang, you gained everyone's interest back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're all watching your team. By the way, the best team now might not be the best team in August, but they won something, and you can hang your hat on that.
Mm-hmm. And they tried doing that something because the All-Star game wasn't getting any views, and they made it. Well, the winner of the All-Star game, they get home field advantage in the World Series.
But here's what I think they should do, though. I think they should do this. You could have the home run derby kick it off, and then we go play for our respective teams. In this, and it's you do something like you could do single elimination until you get down to 16 teams.
Yeah.
Right? Then you do double. You guys figure it out, but that would be fun. Yeah. Give me some middle of the season juice, and then we go right back to our. And by the way, you keep all the same records.
Yeah. Yeah.
You keep all the same records. I think that would be fun, don't you think?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It'd be something that definitely would draw eyes to your sport. Be something that is out of the ordinary. You're thinking outside the box as far as letting them have their choice between the wild card and a better seeding that they could potentially have. So, yeah, I absolutely love the idea.
NBA did it, but they didn't need to.
Yeah, I didn't like that the NBA did it for the fact that they didn't need to. They had no reason to bring that in-season tournament in.
But baseball should think about it.
Yes.
Because
baseball needs something to spice it up. That's the whole that's what we've been talking about.
And then you could come back. Ready? Here we go. Then you come back from that whole thing. And your next event, I don't know who it's going to be or what teams. Hey, guess what, by the way? You can have the championship of that in-season tournament at the Field of Dreams field.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
One thing, go ahead. What were you going to say?
They've already started. No, sorry. They've already started incorporating that as a game between teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's do it. Let's make that game the World Series at that special field, and then you can move it every year and do certain things.
Mm-hmm. I know what I'm going to say is kind of tough because of time restraints, but I'm sure they could figure it out somehow. The one thing that always drew me back from the home run derby was that not every team is represented in that. I wish every team had at least one representative in the home run derby, and like do it a tournament style or whatever, however you would want to do it. But I that's what I wish. I mean, I know you would have a lot more participants in it. It'd be a lot longer, but I mean, they could work the logistics out and everything, you know. But that's what I wish. I wish every team had a name in the hat.
So, I mean, it's not difficult. Here's what you do. You start the home run derby whenever it's supposed to. Right? Started at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Started at 1 o'clock.
And then you don't need to have it on a Monday. You can start whatever day it is. You have it on a Saturday. Start at 1 o'clock and play the whole day.
Started at 1 o'clock. And then once you get down to 16 guys, you take a 2-hour break.
Mm-hmm.
And then you resume the 16 guys, which you normally would have had at 7:30 at night.
At prime time. Your prime time.
Yep. Yeah. You go from 1 to 3, weed it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3 to 5, you get a break. 5, live from ESPN. We are back. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'd be great.
No, I like it. Yes. Yeah. Let's.
We're fixing baseball here today, guys.
We're trying to fix baseball, anyways. Let's see if they take any of our suggestions and run with it. And if they do, we expect credit for that. By the way.
Yeah, we expect credit.
Listen, you want to throw us a couple bucks, that's fine. But if you want to give us credit so then we could build us up a little bit, that would be even better.
Yeah, listen, we like credit. We like followers.
Yes.
You know, guys, follow us at it's the signs right in the back, right? Sometimes I do this. I'm Jack Neary, fantasyfarmsports.com. We do live videos and we do articles and all that other fun stuff. Come check me out because I'm working really hard. Spending all of my hard-earned money here, just trying to put together a sports show for you guys.
I'm doing the same thing. You know, I've already spent some money, but I'm going to be spending more money. I am actually getting, I just bought a new desk, so it's going to be a little bit different background coming up here in the next like 3 weeks. I'm just going to need time to put everything together. But Jack and I are constantly trying to make our stuff better here for you guys. Constantly putting our own money back into it. Constantly coming up with new ideas. As you can see, we got a whole new graphic system behind me. Our cameras in the background. So like we are trying. So anything you guys want to jump over, throw to us, donate to us. We're not asking for money, but you know, you guys want to donate something, that'd be greatly appreciated because we are putting our own dollars into this.
Got anything else? Any last points?
Yes. I want to talk about the whole Brandon Aiyuk situation over in.
Oh yeah, that's right. You want to finish with Brandon?
49ers land here. All you guys that are up in arms about the contract that Brandon Aiyuk wants, which is reportedly he wants the same as St. Brown, around $30 million a year. Where I have a problem with this, and people aren't talking about it, the St. Brown contract might sound good on the surface. Dig a little deeper into that. He's only guaranteed $34 million of that contract. So they could cut him at any point and not be on the books for the however many, 30 mil a year. 34 mil, that's all he's guaranteed over those 4 years. So we all know Brandon Aiyuk might want that 30 mil a year, but he's more interested in that guaranteed money. So all you guys that are all up in arms about that 30 mil, he's not going to get that. We don't have to worry about that. Look for more on the $25 million range a year, 22, 25, and look for the guaranteed money to be up closer to around 80 to 100 mil for 4 years.
I think that's get 100 million guaranteed.
Yes, guaranteed. Yes. Yep. And I think anyway, that's where we were trending before this whole St. Brown contract. Is we were trending on the guaranteed money. That's what everybody was looking at. The guaranteed. How much is this person guaranteed? But then when, for some reason, when that St. Brown contract came out, we were all fixated on that 30 mil a year. Don't understand why.
Well, look, what are you going to do? Not pay them? Like, look, that's these people when they talk about. I love fans when they talk about contracts. Oh, they make too much. Okay, maybe they do. Well, then let somebody else pay them then, and you'll get to sit and watch your team go 0-17.
My big thing when people say that is, where do you want the money to go? Back to the owner?
No, they have no idea.
Do you want that billionaire to have more money? Or do you want the player that you see on the field getting the money?
No, they just want everybody to get less.
You know?
That's what they want.
The money's not going to go towards you as a fan. So let's just put that aside. You are not going to get a piece of that pie.
Here's what they don't realize is the average fan doesn't realize money. So the Kansas City Chiefs, for instance, with Patrick Mahomes on the team, is worth $5 trillion as an organization.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's getting $40 or $50 million a year, what percentage of that $5 trillion that they're worth a year is he actually getting?
Exactly.
That's what you need to talk. That's what you need to talk about. You know, when you're talking about economics and percentages and people's salaries, you need to figure out what percent of the pie that they're getting. You can't sit there and compare it to your paycheck. No. They don't give you 1% where you work.
No.
I'm very sorry, but they know. Yeah. Not even knocking you. I'm just letting you know that you don't get 1% where you work. So they're giving Pat, because if Patrick Mahomes is not on the team, the Kansas City Chiefs are not worth $5 trillion.
No.
They're probably worth $2 trillion. Maybe only $1 trillion, because they're not a major market, ladies and gentlemen.
No, Kansas City, anybody that knows anything about football knows Kansas City is a smaller market team. They're only a major market now because of the waves they're making in the NFL.
Right. If they were Oklahoma City, right? It would be the same problem like the NBA, right? Like Oklahoma City's starting to get to where Kansas City is, but Kansas City, he's making that money because he's worth a percentage of the revenue. The people drive me absolutely crazy. Why should we pay? You don't pay for anything. You pay for a jersey at best, maybe a ticket. You don't actually pay for anything.
That's why I say, when I talk about my team, I say we, because without us fans buying the jerseys, buying on the memorabilia, going to the games, there is no team. So without us as the fans, there is no teams. So that's why I say we. I get a lot of slack on that from people. People are like, you don't play for the team. You're right. I don't play for the team, but I spend my hard-earned money to help support that team.
Yeah, but at least you could say we if you spend a good amount of money on 49er memorabilia. But as long as you don't go, well, we shouldn't pay. Well, so you've got a 49er checkbook laying around that I don't know about, and we're looking for followers.
Behind me. Don't worry about it, all right?
We're looking for followers and subscribers, and you have San Francisco's playbook, checkbook. Jeez.
All right. Now back to this whole Brandon Aiyuk thing that we were talking about. All right. So the money doesn't bother me. And one of the reasons why everybody's like, well, they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy soon. You're right. They are. But what people don't realize is we're not going to have Deebo Samuel on the team within 2 years. I have a strong feeling he's going to be gone next year when we have to pay Brock Purdy, and we're already paying Aiyuk. And I have a strong feeling we're going to end up having to give Christian McCaffrey a little bit of raise too. I know it's voluntary, but he is not showing up for camp. Nothing has come out said that he wants a pay raise, but he was there day one last year at voluntary camp. So he is also in his last year of his contract. So I have a feeling he might end up getting a pay raise too. But anyways, the whole Brandon Aiyuk thing, I'm not worried about because we are going to end up paying him, I believe, and we're going to end up trading Deebo within the next year or two. So that money is going to be off the books, the $25 million a year, $24 million a year that he makes a year.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Deebo was supposed to be quite possibly getting traded to Carolina this offseason. There was rumors about it, and it hasn't happened, whatever. But yeah, he's no pup. I mean, he's starting to get older.
Yeah, exactly. And the way he plays the game, I mean, injuries are just going to start piling up for the guy. It's already hard for him to play a whole season. It's one of the reasons why I've always stayed away from him in fantasy, because he might be great for you those 5 weeks that he's getting the 40 points a game that he's getting. But what about the rest of the year?
Yeah, and then you don't know when to draft him and all this other stuff. I don't draft him. I don't draft guys. I don't draft guys if I don't, love where they're at.
That, and I tend to stay away from guys that I can't guarantee if they're going to be in my lineup. If you're going to be out 4 or 5 games a year, I don't know when you're going to be out those 4 or 5 games. I'm kind of staying away from you unless you drop dramatically in the draft, and then I'll take a flyer on you. But yeah, I mean, we all know Deebo, the way he plays the game, he misses anywhere from 3 to 4 games a year. He has.
I mean, he has to. I mean,
yeah,
it's because of how he rumbles through people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the guy, he could take a screen pass and take it like a running back. So, am I bashing Deebo? Is it showing that I don't like Deebo? No, not in the least bit. But I come from the old school, the old Bill Walsh days, that if you're going on the backside of your career and we're drafting people to take over for you, listen, we're about the Niners. We want you here, but if we have to get rid of you, we're going to get rid of you a year before we should instead of a year after we should.
Yeah, you're like a shovel.
I'm just a guy that, listen, it's what have you done for me now? Not what have you done for me, and not what will you do for me. It's what have you done for me right now.
Do you hear that, 49ers? He's trying to get rid of you.
I am not trying to get rid of you. I really, really am not. But I am also one of those that I know the business. I'm 48 years old. You're what? How old are you now? 40
I'm
what?
40. I'm 40
40.
flat.
So you've been around the NFL. You know how teams work. You know, a lot of times if the team starts declining, it's probably because they kept their superstars way too long than what they should have. They didn't move on from them quick enough.
If it can happen to Julio Jones, it can happen to you.
If it could happen to Joe Montana, it could happen to you. We replaced Joe Montana, one of the greatest, second best quarterback of all time, for Steve Young.
Yeah, but Montana was still good. Julio Jones was not.
I'm just saying, like, that just shows you kind of the cutthroat mentality of the NFL.
Yeah, but they were
moving
wrong.
on from an all-time great to somebody that, you know,
but they were wrong.
Proven yet? Oh no, they were. But were they wrong?
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah. Yeah, they said Joe had no more juice.
Title.
But no. They said Joe had no more juice. They were wrong.
Well, that and Steve Young was pushing them for more playing. Steve Young wanted to start.
One of the greatest Joe Montana games I watched in my whole entire lifetime was in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. He had 20-some seconds left on Monday Night Football, drove them down the field to beat John Elway's Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
They were wrong.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. I think we want to win another 2 Super Bowls with Joe Montana.
No, but it wasn't like Julio Jones let the Falcons let him go, or he went to the Titans or whatever, and he wasn't Julio Jones anymore.
No, and he wasn't Julio Jones the last 2 years with the Falcons. That was one of those teams that let their superstars stick around a little too long and paid them a little too much money.
But San Fran should have kept Joe.
They should have, but again, you're moving on from one Hall of Famer to another Hall of Famer.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I get what they were doing, especially because Eddie DeBartolo, and that's why him and Bill Walsh got along so well, because they both had the same mindset: is we would rather move on from a player a year too early than a year too late.
No, I get it. You went with what's his name? Brigham Young's great-great-grandson.
Yeah. Brigham Young's great-great-grandson. People don't realize.
They don't.
Yeah, they don't. But yeah, that's that. Yep. Yeah, the guy from BYU. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my thought on the 49ers. Oh, one other bit of 49ers news. OTAs this week. We got a quick glimpse of what Brown and I can't remember Mustafa, the rookie safety, how they're going to look. Apparently there's rumors coming out that they look really good together as a safety tandem. Okay. So anxious to see that, even though we have Huff coming back from injury in the safety position, but I'm anxious to see how these two young guys are going to look.
All right.
So,
well, there's your,
yeah, that's about all I got today.
There's some of your 49ers news, and I was happy to report on baseball. Baseball is all we got now for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, once basketball is done, we're gonna have about a month and a half, 2 months of solid baseball news until we start.
I'm happy. I'm happy. Listen, I smoke cigars and watch baseball games, guys. So if you ever want to ring me, that's what I'll be doing.
I'm looking more forward towards the football season. That's where I'm able to really spread my wings. I'm going to be forced to watch more baseball this year because of our podcast, which I'm not complaining about. Kind of am, because my White Sox suck, and it just reminds me how bad we are every time I turn the TV on. But
you know what though? There's talent there.
There's talent, but it doesn't show.
Listen, I know, but it's not like. It's not like they're not trying. I watched the game a couple weeks ago, and they were up 3-1, and they lost 5-3. Like, they're trying.
No, I get that.
And the 3 runs were all home runs.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, there was nobody on base. Let's say there was one guy that got a walk ahead of him, right? That'd be 6, and you would have won.
Mm-hmm.
It's just tough right now. They're going through some growing pains, unfortunately. And you know what's tough too? Here's the other thing. If they were in a different division, like if they were in the AL West where the Mariners lead 27-26, 15-38, you can make up some games.
You could.
But they're in a division where the top 3 teams all have winning records, and Tigers are 2 games out of a winning record. They're like 7.5, 8 behind.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a tough division. No one likes to talk about the AL Central, but 35-17, 34-19, and 28-23. That's your top 3 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, that's better than the AL East, where the Red Sox are 26-26. And that's better than the NL East, where the Braves where the Phillies and the Braves rule. I mean, it's just better.
We have the
fun trivia real quick before we get off. Fun trivia. We all know that the New York Yankees have the most World Series with 27. Do you know what baseball team has the second most World Series?
I'll
give you 2 guesses.
Texas Rangers?
Nope.
No?
It's a tough one.
All right. Well, a little hint.
I'll give you
a
a
little trivia hint.
You want a trivia hint?
Yeah, hint. A little hint.
Okay. Sometimes when people see these animals, they often think that it's past relatives that are coming to visit them.
Is there a cat in here anywhere?
Nope. No cats.
No cats. No cats.
No cats.
Let's see here. It's definitely not the. It's not a National League team. I don't see that in here anywhere.
Okay. It is a National League team.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Well, and then I am. The only other team I got is the Braves. That's it.
So it's the St. Louis Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah, the Cardinals have 11 World Series wins.
Wow.
Yeah.
When?
No, I mean, dude.
Do you have any idea of when the majority of them were won?
It was a long time ago. It was
yeah.
Lou Brock and all those guys.
Okay. All right.
It was a long time ago. But I mean, the Yankees won a lot of theirs a long time ago too. So
no, they have. Yes, that's why if we didn't have the Yankees fans always reminding us of that, we might have forgot.
Now the Red Sox have a bunch of wins too. By the way, the Athletics I think are in the top 5.
Really?
Remember the Reggie Jackson and those boys I think won 3.
And they might end up being, before we know it, within the next couple years, the Las Vegas A's. They are making a strong push to move to Vegas. Strong push.
I just hope they keep the symbol mainly the same.
What's that?
I just hope they keep the symbol the same.
The symbol, the name, the name, everything.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. It's a great name.
Yeah. No, I agree. I hope they do too. Yeah. No, I am fine if a small market team leaves for a bigger market, but I don't believe that the city should keep that name. The team keeps that name. But if they're moving, let them keep the name.
Yes.
Yeah, so the owner bought the product. If they're moving the product goes with them. So does the name.
I agree with that. Yeah, my last point was St. Louis Cardinals are the second most winning World Series team. So be proud, you Cardinals fans, right?
I like that. Maybe that's something we should start doing. Doing a and not give them the answer until the next episode.
Little sports
leave
trivia.
Them off on a little sports trivia at the end. Leave in your comments at the end. What you think it is, and then the next week we will revisit it.
I like that. We'll end with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, that's all I got. Sorry about the little mix-up this week. We had a little issue before the broadcast. I know anybody that's seen our original page for our podcast, that our event was no longer there. We had to start a new event with some technical issues with our equipment, but we are working them out.
Listen, we're like young kids, right? We're just going through some growing pains.
Exactly. I mean, neither one of us have a great technical know-how. Both of us are learning on the fly, and neither one of us has the money to bring somebody in. So, what we're doing is we're learning this. We don't have a production staff behind us.
Every Point podcast should just be called "Couple of Poor Guys."
A couple poor guys, exactly. That should, instead of every Point Sports podcast, 2 broke guys. Yeah. That's what it should be. 2 broke guys sports podcast. So But we are learning. We are learning. We are trying to I know you hear this from us all the time, but we are trying to make our podcast better every week. We are getting there. New background in the back there. Jack has a new mic that should be making its appearance next week. He is showing you right now. Are you bringing it up? There. Oh. A little mic porn here for you. Little mic porn. Oh, look at that.
That's the famous SM7DB, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the best podcast mics you can get out there, guys.
I'll mess around.
That's right. So, I do apologize to you guys that tried viewing us on that last link, or that first link that was out there. Hopefully next week we will have this set back up. And again, sorry for the late start this week. Last week was a different reason. This week was technical issues. So when we say a time, we like to stay around that time. Let's go.
And I don't apologize because I never will.
Yeah, I do apologize.
No.
I'm the guy that apologizes. Jack just says, "Screw you guys."
Screw you guys.
Yeah, no. But we love you. We love you guys, and we appreciate the support. We appreciate you guys showing up. On last week's YouTube, I had about almost 400 views on it, and it's continued growing. Now, the video before that, we hit 1,000, guys. We hit 1,000 views on our not this past one, but the one before that. I'm asking one more favor. Of those 1,000 views, though, we need to get some follows, guys. We need to hit those subs. Hit that sub button. We're up to 129 subs now, or 429 subs on YouTube. So let's keep them rising, guys. Let's keep them going. And don't forget, jump over to Fantasy Farm Sports. One word, Fantasy Farm Sports, over on YouTube. Let's get Jack's subscriptions up there too.
Sub Army Unite.
That's right. But guys, we will see you next week. Jack, you want to lead us out on here? Or?
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to Every Point Sports Podcast. I am Jack Neary from Fantasy Farm Sports. This is Greg Kratzer, the Old Gamer GK. We'll see you guys next Sunday.
Have a good night.